leader in the person of High Chief Ambassador Sobomabo Jackrich. Please, a round of applause as he comes to take his place.
With a clapping ovation, I think he's what deserving. The man who conceptualized the idea, the sole financier of the activities of the ROGM, the foremost Niger Delta freedom fighter, High Chief Sobomabo Jackrich, to say hello to you. Yes,
ROGM, should I say this meeting or this conference became expedient because we are known to always speak for truth and to always stand by the truth. ROGM supports only good governance. Hence, we have come today to make our stand clear to the nation, to the press, the happenings in Rivers State, the true story, the true state of what is happening in Rivers State. ROGM, one Rivers, one voice, one purpose. One Rivers, one voice, one purpose. Rivers Grassroots Movement, ROGM, condemns impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and Deputy Governor Professor Ngozi Odu. Calls on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to rein in and call to order the FCT Minister Wike. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the Rivers Grassroots Movement, ROGM, a coalition of concerned citizens dedicated to the progress and stability of Rivers State, today addresses the nation on the escalating political crisis in our beloved state. We convene this press conference to unequivocally condemn the purported impeachment proceedings initiated by the Martins Amewule-led Rivers State House of Assembly against His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara GSS ROS, Governor of Rivers State, and Her Excellency Professor Ngozi Odu, Deputy Governor of Rivers State. This reckless action represents a blatant assault on democratic principles and the will of Rivers people. We view these proceedings as a deliberate ploy to regress Rivers State among the Committee of States in Nigeria. At a time when our nation demands forward-thinking governance, such maneuvers only serve to disrupt essential services to our citizens. The crisis is unmistakably fueled by the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Wike, and the unchecked greed of Speaker Martins Amewule, who harbors a strong desire to ascend to the governorship role through undemocratic backdoor. Their action prioritizes personal ambition over the collective welfare of Rivers State. The allegations leveled against the governor and deputy governor are not only malicious, but baseless, with the Rivers State House of Assembly itself complicit in any purported infractions, should they even exist. To demand a representation of a budget already passed into law is to render the constitution and legislative actions of the National Assembly useless, which is legally untenable and constitutionally absurd. Claims that the governor has failed to present the 2025 budget to the Assembly are either rooted in malice or a willful disregard for the interventions of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the National Assembly. It is on record that during the state of emergency regime, the president personally transmitted the Rivers State Appropriation Bill to the National Assembly, which graciously passed it into law on the 25th June 2025. As such, Rivers State operates under a valid fiscal framework that remains fully operational. Furthermore, the Assembly's current antics appear designed to evade their constitutional responsibility of receiving and passing the 2026 Appropriation Bill, which the Governor was fully prepared to present. The claim that the inability of the Governor to present the 2026 budget amounts to a breach of the Constitution is entirely untrue. Section 122 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, clearly provides that where the Appropriation Act in respect of any fiscal year has not been passed into law, the Governor may authorize expenditure from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the state for a period not exceeding 6 months. The provision makes it abundantly clear that while an annual budget is ordinarily valid for 1 year, it may lawfully subsist for an additional 6 months where circumstances prevent the immediate passage of a new one. Moreover, the 2025 budget was passed in 2025, June 25, which by implication means the fiscal year runs till August 2026. Therefore, time is still on the side of the Governor to present the 2026 budget. If there was any urgency to present a budget, the Assembly's hasty recess on December 5th, 2025, scheduled to resume only on January 26, 2026, further exposes their deliberate delay tactics. Yet, astonishingly, the same Assembly magically reconvened as early as January 8, 2026, with their first order of business being the rushed commencement of impeachment proceedings. He who comes to equity must do so with clean hands. The members of the Rivers State Assembly, by their actions, are complicit in the constitutional breaches they alleged against the Governor and Deputy Governor, if any exist. This sequence of events reveals a profound lack of concern for Rivers State's development, as these individuals serve only the selfish interests of the FCT minister and the greedy ambitions of the Speaker, who hungers for power by any means necessary. By stifling the government financially, they aim to destroy the state's economic foundation and impede ongoing development initiatives and blame it on the innocent governor. We also strongly reject the allegation that the governor unlawfully expanded state resources by approving the payment of a 100,000 bonus to members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Rivers people must recall that during the emergency rule, the former sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete retired, reportedly approved 450 million for each lawmaker, in addition to one SUV per member. These same lawmakers collected these benefits without questioning whether they were captured in the state's appropriation law. No objections were raised then, and no constitutional concerns were expressed as at then. It is therefore sheer hypocrisy and bad faith for the same lawmakers to suddenly claim that a 100,000 bonus constitutes unlawful expenditure. It is evident that the Rivers State House of Assembly and their enabler, the FCT minister, have no regard for the state's advancement or the well-being of its people. None of the issues they raise pertain to developmental priorities or public welfare. Instead, they revolve around devilish political agreements that benefit a selected few at the expense of the masses. Amid this destruction and disruptions orchestrated by the Assembly and the FCT minister, Governor Fubara has demonstrated exemplary prudence and transparency in managing state resources. He has piloted the affairs of Rivers State with remarkable calmness and an undiminished focus on delivering the dividends of democracy to the grassroots. His administration's achievements in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and economic empowerment stands as a testament to his commitment, even in the face of adversity. We therefore call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to urgently call the FCT minister to order. As the adage goes, if a witch cries in the night and a child dies in the morning, we do not go to the soothsayer to ask what killed the child. The renewed crisis in Rivers State is a direct orchestration by the FCT minister against the governor. It will not be forgotten that the minister publicly declared his intention to start politics in January. We know the FCT minister's history. It follows a predictable pattern. He is a political Cankerworm who thrives in chaos, intent on dismantling the foundational structures of our democracy, including political party system that provide order to our democratic system. When party structures are destroyed, as he is doing, even the president's re-election ambitions are jeopardized. Recall how he undermined the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, from within through the G5 governors, endorsing a president from another party and using that structure to fracture the PDP. A man that destroys his own house to build another man's house just to secure a room should not be trusted, because one day he will also destroy that house because he has nothing to lose. If he could destroy his party, what else can't he destroy? With his so-called Rainbow Coalition, he openly declares that in Rivers State there is no such thing as party loyalty. This is orchestrated to build a parallel political structure, using Rivers State as a launch pad for his devilish mission under the guise of renewed hope. He aims to infiltrate and destroy the All Progressive Congress APC, leveraging the Rainbow Coalition as bargaining power against the president and the APC in 2027. If allowed to succeed, the FCT minister will smuggle anarchy into the APC, divide the party, and complicate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election chances. As someone who once worked closely with him and understands his gimmicks, I warn that his politics is predictable but destructive if overlooked. It does not work for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He exploits the president's platform to rebuild his influence to strike back. The so-called Rainbow Coalition is a tool to hold the president and APC to ransom. The only alternative and potent antidote to his political venom is Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and the APC is fortunate to have him in their fold at this juncture. That is why he's using the Rivers State Assembly to orchestrate an impeachment to get him off the way for the plans to succeed. However, if the president and APC leaders continue to grant him leverage under the mistaken belief that he aligns with them, they risk injecting the same venom that destroyed the PDP into the APC, which they will realize only when it is too late. His ultimate game is that if he would defect to the APC, it will be with overwhelming bargaining power, thereby diminishing the president's influence. If he prevails in Rivers State, it will extend this influence nationwide. Should the APC should the APC fall like the PDP, Nigeria risks drifting into a mafia state controlled by oligarchs, escalating corruption to unprecedented levels. The president must protect our democracy by flushing out this venom from the APC, safeguarding Governor Fubara and silencing the crying witch to save the child, our democracy. For clarity, let us x-ray Wike's pattern of politics to better understand what he is trying to achieve now. In 2015, he ascended to the governorship using federal powers, fomented crisis through rogue movements like the grassroots development initiatives. He plunged the state into chaos, almost crippled governance, and unleashed anarchy on the streets and in the state assembly as well, just as he is doing right now. When he assumed power as governor, he stifled opposition and fueled internal crisis in the APC, with allies like Magnus Abe preventing the party from fielding candidates. Today, with those same allies, Magnus Abe and Victor Giadom, he continued to undermine the APC after similarly destroying the PDP. Now, APC members are pitted against an APC governor, akin to body fighting itself. He has set the APC on a self-destruction path in Rivers State, and if unchecked, he will advance to usurp the party's national structure, just as he did to the PDP. This must not happen. The APC must restore order, shield against external influences, and recognize that Governor Fubara is its only saving grace and identity bearer in Rivers State. The party and the president must do everything to protect him from these cancer tribes to make the body turn against itself, called Rainbow Coalition, disguised as a part of the renewed Hope family. Finally, the Rivers Grassroots Movement restates our unflinching support for His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara, GSS ROS, Governor of Rivers State, and Our Excellency Professor Ngozi Odu, Deputy Governor of Rivers State. Their leadership has held the state together amidst difficult political situations orchestrated by enemies of progress. We therefore declare a vote of confidence in their administration and urge them to make themselves available for re-election in 2027. We call on the Rivers State House of Assembly to immediately withdraw their unholy and sinister impeachment proceedings against the governor and deputy governor. Cease fighting the people of Rivers State, as such acts will no longer be tolerated by the electorate. Rivers State deserves peace, progress, prosperity. We stand united for a better future. RUGM.
One Rivers, one voice, one vote. Is this a total decision? Excellency, Sir Dr. Siminalayi Fubara and the deputy. Is this our resolve? Yes. Is this our resolve? Yes. Mr. President, we at this junction now sincerely urge you to call to order the FCT minister so that there will be total peace in Rivers State. We shall stand on your mandate. We shall stand on your mandate. On your mandate.